Okay, welcome back. Whenever we are looking at what we've done so far and where we're going to pick up, we started by having this architecture starter project. We're going to rename that today. First name, last initial, and then architecture. And we will go with day 3 on this. Now, if you are starting from the one that was already done, which is what we did, you should go to File and save as a copy. So that now yours would have been day 2, and now you could just change that to day 3. If not, if you don't do that step, it's not a big deal. We're just building on the script that's from before. So the fact that we're building on it, we're not changing or getting rid of anything, I'll be able to know that you did the last one, even though you might have moved on already. Okay, so if you remember from that script, what we can do is we can click this, let go, and then we can drop it and click to build any structure we want. Today we kind of want to turn that into a game. Additionally, last time we made it so that you can move them right and left on the top by pushing the right and left arrow keys. So that's where we left off. Now I want to make it so that these blocks will drop. So just trying to get the blocks to drop down now is our goal. And I'll show you how we can just make it drop. If we're just looking to make it drop, then I can pick any one of these sprites to start with. I'm going to start with the dome just because it comes first. And I can say change Y by, and I can make this -10. -10 would make it drop, whereas +10 would make it go up. So now when I click this, you'll see that the dome drops by 10 each time. Remember, this is like an X and Y axis. And then I can drag it back up. If you click it and drag it, it takes the original back up to the top, as opposed to creating a clone. Okay? So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to set this up so that we can make each one of these drop kind of at random. And we'll turn it into a game so that we don't want it to stack up to the top, or like you can see how long you can go without having them all stack up until you can't manage it anymore. So that's kind of what we're looking to do. So if I just put the change Y by, then you'll notice that when I do that, I would have to click this every time. Additionally, I want to make it so that it drops all the way to the bottom. Now you'll notice there's a black bar here in the bottom. And in order to make this program run successfully, I'm going to have to get rid of this toolbox at the top because it has a black line in it. I'm going to make it so that each one of these drops until it hits the black bar at the bottom. If I just now changed it to that, I can get rid of my, instead of just doing change by Y, or change Y by, I can put a loop in and do a repeat until. And I want it to drop to the bottom and see if it repeats until it touches black. So if I put it repeat until, put an operator in, and do, I'm sorry, sensing in, it says repeat until touching color. And then I'll change this purple, and I'll do the little eyedropper here so that I can pick what color I want it to touch, and it's black. So now when I click this, you're going to notice that it'll drop, but it only drops down to here. And that's because it's touching the black in the toolbar. So because that toolbox is in the way, I actually am going to switch my background. So I'm going to go to Stage, click that one, and then go to backdrops. And I'll select the one without the toolbox in it. Now whenever I go back into my code, you'll notice that the toolbox is gone. And now if I go back to Dome by clicking that sprite and click our code again, it's going to drop all the way down to the bottom. So that is sort of our first issue. But we don't want it to just drop to the bottom and go away up top. So I would like to have this come back right back up to here, which means I'm going to need to create a stamp so that when it drops to the bottom, it just falls, stops, and then a new dome comes right back up to the top. So that's what I'm going to look for. So in order to do that, I'm going to put another command in. I'm going to go to I'm going to click in motion and go to where it says X is something and Y is something. So that now when I put that in there, I'll make it go to X's. Let's see where it's at right now. See, it's at X's negative 28. You can see that right here. So I'll leave it at negative 28 and Y at 140. So that now whenever I drop this, I click this code, see it drops and comes back up. But it's not dropping and staying, which means we need to add another command. What can we add in to make it so that when it comes down to the bottom, it'll leave its mark and then go back up to the top? We're going to have to add a stamp into it. So I'm done with backdrops for a second. I can click stamp and drop a stamp into this. And then reattach it. Now you'll see it drops, leaves a mark, and it comes back up to the top. Now this wouldn't be a very fun game if it just dropped in the same spot every time, and now I've lost. So I want to make it so that it goes to a random X, so that it's sliding back and forth across the top. So instead of having go to X's negative 28, I'm going to put an operator in there. And I'll put a pick random in. Just drop that in where the X is. So that for Y, I still want it to come back up to this top row. So I'm going to leave that at 140. But for X, I'm going to make it so that it's going to go anywhere on the screen from left to right. Our X-axis on this is from negative 240 to 240. And I could tell that if I just grab this and drag it over. Maybe it won't switch. If I change this to negative 240 though, you'll see it drags it all the way over to here. So that's the end of my X-axis. On the right, it also goes to positive 240. I believe that our numbers for Y are from 180 to negative 180, going up and down. So I'll make this go from negative 240 to 240. And then I'll leave my Y at 180, or at 140. If I took it to 180 all the way up at the top, you'd see it would jump way up here. So now you'll see that it's going to drop, and then it comes back up to the top over there. If I click this again, now you have a problem. Because it's touching black, it's not going to drop anywhere. So what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to put a hide in the other ones. created our problem. And now we're going to need to put a hide in the other ones. So if I hit every one of these other ones, go into looks and hide. Just dropping that into each of the other ones isn't going to do anything. I can make it hide. I can click show and it'll show back up. But if I made it so that it hides right from the very beginning, so do green flag clicked. And we're going to put that in for all of them. Green flag clicked. This is just a temporary fix. So now I click the green flag and they all disappear and just the dome is left. If I went into my dome and started this command when the green flag got clicked, then you'll see it starts dropping. The next one shows up. And I would have to click it again to make it drop. And again, and again, and again. So that's not going to complete our code. Plus, we don't want to do it so that it just works for the dome. So I want to unhide these. I'm going to make them all show back up so that we can then fix that problem. So the whole point today is to kind of walk you through what designers actually have to go through when they're coming up with this stuff. I mean, it would be nice if we just went right from the beginning and said, oh, well, here's how it's done. But that's not the way that designing works. If you're building a game, you're going to come across problems, and you have to figure out how to make them work. So I'm going to get rid of all these scripts that I just dropped in, because I can see that it created a problem and didn't really fix anything. It hit everything, which was what we were trying to make happen, but it doesn't fix the problem. So now that we're at this point, we can change these so that it'll drop on command. So I'm going to unattach this from green flag clip. And we're going to put a new code in that we haven't seen before. And it's going to be a broadcast code. So basically this is going to work so that whenever my stage does something, it'll broadcast a message to the rest of the commands. So we'll go to the stage. And if I do that, I can make it so that it'll broadcast to the dome. So we'll go to events and broadcast a message. We'll do broadcast and wait. And I'll make this new message and I'll call this one dome because it's going to send the message to the dome. So that now, and I'll set it up so that when the green flag is clicked, it's going to happen. I'll broadcast the message to the dome, and then wait. If I go back to the dome, I'm going to start this when I receive the message dome. So when I receive the message dome, this is going to happen. And I'm going to put my hide and show loop right into here. I'm going to make it show at the beginning so that I know it's going to be black before it drops. And then hide it at the end so it disappears. Now you'll notice I click that it drops, it stamps one time, and that's it. But now my dome is hidden. So if I click show, you'll see my dome showed back up over here, not where it was supposed to be. Go to my dome and show. So it showed back up where it wasn't supposed to be, and it's too late to fix that. So what we have to do at that point is then put a different command in. It'll start our loop over again. So we're going to put a control in and make this a forever loop so that it starts the whole process all over again. It'll show back up, fall, and disappear. These are all back in the way though. So that's what we're going to have to change tomorrow. So when we look at this for tomorrow, we're going to have to change this program to make it so that those start disappearing. And we're going to create a broadcast for each symbol. So by creating this broadcast for each symbol and making them disappear, that I'll be able to run this script repeatedly without having to worry about all these things showing up. All right, that's it for today. It's a little bit longer video because we're getting more in depth with this stuff, but hopefully you understood. If you have any questions, go ahead and send me an email or a message on Google Classroom. All right, have a good day.